لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أحسن الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. أوصيكم ونفسي بتقوى الله سبحانه وتعالى ومراقبته في السر والعلن فإنه سبحانه وتعالى رسول الأمر كله. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we live in a very fast-paced world that everything we do is in a hurry. The intent for the Friday Khutba is as a simple reminder for us to remember things and to keep us on the straight path, inshallah Rabbil Alameen. So hopefully today I'll try to touch on a very simple topic as a reminder for all of us. Some of these things we already know, others we might just need a refresher in. A man went to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, Ya Rasulullah, أبعيد ربنا فننادي أم قريب فنناجي. A man went to the Prophet ﷺ. Is Allah far, so we need to raise our voices when we're calling Him? Or is He near, so we just have a one-on-one conversation? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responded back with the ayah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعان. And this is in Surah Al-Baqarah. Today's topic is as simple as can be. It's making dua. We all need things. Every single one of us here needs something. The problem is we always tend to fall back on ourselves and forget to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for these things. And we'll see here from ahadith and from Quran that we have to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for things. It doesn't just come from us. So let's look at the ayah. The ayah says, and that this is the beauty of the Arabic language. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. In most verses of the Quran, when people ask the Prophet for something, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds, قُلْ يَسْأَلُونَكَ قُلْ. He would always say to them. When someone asks you something, the response is, you tell them so and so. This one is different. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي. When my servants ask about me, what does Allah say? فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. I am near. Who reads the Quran? We do. So when we read this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala responds immediately to us. I am near. And then He says, أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ. Now let's look at this for a second. When you ask for something, shouldn't you ask first? And then you get the response? Linguistically, what did Allah do here? He said, أُجِيبُ first. The answer came first. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ. Da'wah. He said not dua, which means that you're doing constantly on the dua. This is da'wah, singular. And that, what did Allah say? When your phone rings, you know who the caller ID is, right? You know who it is. If it's an unknown number, would you answer? Sometimes you might, other times you might not. What did Allah say here? Ujibu da'wat, singular, ad-da'i, the specific caller. I would answer the singular dua of a specific caller. Each one of us here has something to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah knows every single one of us' needs. And He would respond to your specific need. You want something, He's not going to give you what this guy wants. Because you asked for something, He's going to get you what you asked for. إِذَا دَعَانِ. When you ask, all you have to do is ask. What did Allah say after this? فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي. Answer my calling. Allah is asking us to ask Him, to answer His calling, to call upon Him. وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. What's clear about this ayah, and I'm just going to point out the key elements, إِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي. When they ask. The next thing is, the answer comes first before you go for the question. أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةً. And it's a singular da'wah of a da'i. Singular da'wah of an individual person. The Prophet ﷺ says, مَنْ لَمْ يَسْأَلِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ يَغْضَبْ عَلَيْهِ. Whoever does not ask Allah, he gets upset with him. Now let's read this Quran and what it says. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمْ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. We all know this, right? We all know this ayah. وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمْ what? ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Make dua to me, I will answer your dua. Did you finish up the rest of the ayah? What does the rest of the ayah say? إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ عِبَادَتِي. Here, dua is considered a ibadah. And if you don't do it, you're being arrogant. We don't think of not making dua as being arrogant. You make dua sometimes, other times we don't. And 99% of us, when do we make dua? When we need something. You want something from Allah, you're going to ask for it. If you feel that everything's going smoothly and fine, you don't ask for anything. You're fine. I'm fine. You think it's all my doing. It's not. Here Allah says what? إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ عِبَادَتِي. What's going to happen to them? سَيَدْخُلُونَ جَهَنَّمَ دَاخِرِينَ. So let's translate. وَقَالَ رَبُّكُمْ ادْعُونِي أَسْتَجِبْ لَكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, make dua. I will answer your dua. And then he follows. Those, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ. Those who are arrogant on this type of worship, عَنْ عِبَادَتِي, سَيَدْخُلُونَ جَهَنَّمَ. Will enter Jahannam. When was the last time you made dua? And when I'm asking myself as well, when was the last time we made a true dua? Not the one that we make after each salah that we just basically memorize and we just regurgitate. We don't even know what we're saying. We just repeat what we say and we don't even ask for it. When was the last time you truly asked Allah for something? Each one of us needs to ask themselves this question. So Allah makes it clear that dua is a type of worship. And there's another hadith I'm going to mention later on that specifically talks about this. Every single one of us here has something to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No matter if it's big, small, job, career, kids, anything. We all have something to ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it clear that it's nothing comes from us. And listen to this hadith Qudsi. Ya ibadi, my servants, kullukum dal. Every one of us is dal, astray, illa man hadaytu, except the ones that I have guided. Fastahduni ahdikum. Ask for my guidance, I will guide you. Ya ibadi, kullukum ja'i' illa man at'amtu. Every one of you is hungry, except the ones that I have fed. So ask sustenance from me. أطعمكم. Ya ibadi, kullukum 'arin. You are all naked, except whomever are covered. فَاسْتَكْسُونِي أَكْسِكُمْ. Ask for me to cover you, and I will cover you. And it goes on. يَا عِبَادِي إِنَّكُمْ تُخْطُونَ بِاللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ وَأَنَا غَفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا. You make sins day and night. We make sins left and right, day and night, all the time. Ask for forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so He can forgive us, inshallah, Rabbul Alameen. يَا عِبَادِي لَوْ أَنَّ أَوَّلَكُمْ. If your beginning and your end, أَوَّلَكُمْ وَآخِرَكُمْ وَإِنسَكُمْ وَجِنَّكُمْ, the ins and jinn, قَامُوا عَلَى صَعِيدٍ وَاحِدٍ. So every single one of us, ins and jinn, from the beginning of time till the end of it, and came at one time and asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the same time. فَسَأَلُونِي فَأَعْطَيْتُ كُلُّ وَاحِدٍ مِّنْكُمْ مَسْأَلَةً. And I gave every single one of you his needs. مَا نَقُصَ ذَلِكَ مِنْ عِنْدِي إِلَّا كَمَا يَنْقُصُ الْمِخْيَطُ إِذَا دَخَلَ الْبَحْرِ. This will not decrease from what I have, except for the amount of what you would get out if you put a needle in the sea. Now this is something for me. I have 3 kids. If all 3 of them ask me for something different at the same time, I won't even be able to answer. And each one of us has the same thing. If more than one person asks you at the same time, you will not be able to respond. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that everybody created and in the future would ask at the same time, that would not decrease anything from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there's another hadith that says, الدعاء هو العبادة. Making dua is worship. we don't think of dua as worship. We think of dua as a tack on at the end of some prayers, or when I really, really need something. That's the only time we use dua. It's not a type of worship. But according to the hadith, it's otherwise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hadith mentioned by the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, إِنَّ رَبَّكُمْ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى حَيِّيٌّ كَرِيمٌ يَسْتَحِي مِنْ عَبْدِهِ إِذَا رَفَعَ يَدَاهُ إِلَيْهِ أَنْ يَرُدَّهُمَا صِفْرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most generous. If you raise your hands, He will answer you. Allah will be shy to return them empty. And another hadith, أَنَا عِنْدَ ظَنَّ عَبْدِي بِي فَلْيَظُنَّ عَبْدِي بِي مَا شَاءَ أو يَظُنَّ عَبْدِي بِي مَا يُحِبُّ. I am at if you have positive belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever you ask for, Allah will return to you. Now, one thing that we all tend to forget, when we do make dua, and we do make dua, but we tend to forget, but when we make dua, we forget that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted dua. If it doesn't happen immediately, we will forget. Do you know why we forget? Who's our number one enemy? Shaitan. Do you know what he does? You know that Allah gave us a key. Whenever we need something, He told us to use that key. Make dua. If you need something, make dua. What does shaitan do? Makes you forget that you made dua maybe a week ago or a month ago, and something happened to you. So you don't attribute it to your dua. You attribute it to what? I studied hard. I worked hard at my job. Dua had nothing to do with it. It's what I did. That's exactly what he's doing. Makes us forget that this is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the second part of the khutbah, inshallah, we'll briefly talk about additional items that would help us and remind us. This, what I'm saying, we all know, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. It's just to remind us, inshallah, to make more dua. May Allah accept you and me and with us of the ability to implement the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I say this and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us forgiveness. Udu'u Allah wa antum muqinuna bil ijabah, inshallah. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulullah. Amma ba'd. After this brief reminder about this type of worship that most of us, me included, tend to forget, let's look at a couple of things that will help us better what we have, if we have it, and increase it, inshallah. First off, one thing important for us as Muslims, it's supposed to be important, but well, unfortunately we don't do it, it's time. A lot of what we do revolves around time. Time for prayer, time to do things. But when you ask for people to go meet you at a certain time, that never happens. So let's focus on timing, inshallah, of when we can make dua. Making dua is not necessarily linked to specific times, but there are mentioned, there are hadith, and there are things that are mentioned. There are specific times that are better than others. And I started doing some reading into it, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And I came with a simple conclusion I'll mention at the end. So I'll just mention a number of them. The last days of Ramadan, last 10 days of Ramadan. The last third of the night. When breaking your fast. During Hajj and Umrah. Keep count. During Friday, there's a sa'a on Friday that you make a dua and it gets accepted. Between adhan and iqamah. When drinking zamzam. During sujood. Doing dua for other individuals, a person that's is being oppressed, and when he makes dua, his dua is accepted. A traveler, a parent making dua for their children, making dua for your Muslim brother or sister. First 10 days of the Hijjah, dua after somebody dies, dua of the obedient son to his parents, dua after wudu, dua after you visit the sick. If you think about when I started writing them down, Allah is just giving us excuses to make dua at any time. Just make it. It's not tied to a specific time. Just make the dua. The list goes on and on and on. Now, just to remind ourselves that are typically prereqs to get your dua, make sure that it gets accepted, inshallah. The first one is certainty, al-yaqeen, with the answer. Be certain that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you what you ask for, as long as it's not haram. Have certainty in your dua, have yaqeen in your dua, and be positive that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will answer your dua. Khushu'a. Now this is something, me personally, I struggle with. I struggle with this. And I'm sure a lot of us do. Having khushu'a when you're making dua. When I was researching this, they were giving the example of making khushu' with a person that's on a boat. Right? The boat got destroyed. You're left with one piece of wood that you're floating on. And you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for help. At that moment, that is when you have khushu', because you have nowhere else to go. Now, how many times have we made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that state? You can count them. You can remember them, and you can count them. SubhanAllah, you'd see it in Ramadan. When you're standing next to someone, and the shaykh is making dua, the imam is making dua, two people standing next to each other. One is drenched in his tears. The other one is not even here. What's the difference? One thing. Khushu'. He's linked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The third thing is urgency. Urgency. We live in a Google society. Click, click. I want something right now. If it doesn't happen, look at it. Look at it. Remember this. When we used to have dial-up, for those older of us that remember dial-up, it rings until you get it. Now, it's instant. That's what we're used to. We want things right away. If it doesn't happen right away, Allah didn't answer my dua. I'm done. I'm not going to ask anymore. It's not on your schedule. You ask Allah. And when it's time for you to get what you're asking for, you'll get it. It's not on our schedule. Unfortunately, I remember seeing a very beautiful image of someone that gives hope. And when you think of it, it applies to this directly. They have a picture, a cross-section of someone digging a hole. And he's this close, like this is the difference between one more axe and he'll get the pot of gold, and he gives up. Turns around and walks away. I gave up. I'm done. I've tried so hard, I didn't even get there. He's this close. How many times have we asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for things and said, oh, you know what? He didn't answer me. Then it's not meant to be. Just keep asking. Just keep asking. And the last thing, Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas went to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. قال يا رسول الله ادعو الله أن أكون مستجاب الدعوة. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I would have accepted dua. And the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أطب مطعمك تكن مستجاب الدعوة. Cleanse your food, your eating, your earnings. Make sure that your earnings are lawful. Finally, I just want to mention a number of etiquettes of dua. Make sure when you're making dua, spirituality and physically, you're cleansed and clean. Raise your hands and open them to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Begin your supplication, begin your dua with peace and blessing upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you know the exact words of a hadith or du'as from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, use them. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam utiya jawami' al-kalim, so use them. Ask Allah with His beautiful names. Ask Allah mentioning some of your good deeds that you've done previously. Repeat the dua several times. Keep repeating it. Because it's funny, because sometimes you say it the first time, your head is not into it. You say it the second time, you start thinking about it more. The third time, it starts to sink in. Show humility and proper manners when you're making dua. Confess our mistakes and sins to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Avoid continuous rhythm. Some keeps doing becomes like a poem. Reduce that. Follow what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. And at the end, make sure you finish it with Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. A simple example of dua is something that we read 17 times a day, and subhanAllah, every khutbah I end up going back to this. I have to have it every khutbah. Al-Fatiha. What does it say? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Mentioning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. And you're praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Mentioning Allah with His beautiful names. Maliki Yawmiddin. Praising and glorifying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Mentioning good deeds. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. And then you're asking what you're asking for. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Al-Fatiha is a dua. It's as simple as that. You don't know how to make a dua? Read Al-Fatiha. Inshallah Rabbil Alameen, everything else will be taken care of. I know I've gone through a lot of things today, but as a take-home exercise for each one of us, after each prayer, sit down for 2 minutes. 2 minutes, not more. and focus on the dua you're mentioning. Repeat it more than once and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with sincerity. May Allah accept from all of us, inshallah Rabbil Alameen, and forgive us for our shortcomings. قل يا عبادي الذين أسرفوا على أنفسهم لا تقنطوا من رحمة الله إن الله يغفر الذنوب جميعا إنه هو الغفور الرحيم اللهم إنك قلت وقولك الحق إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما كثيرا اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد اللهم اجعل خير أعمالنا خواتيمها وخير أعمالنا أواخرها وخير أيامنا يوم أن نلقاك فيه اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي ولا يقضى عليك فإنه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عاديت تباركت ربنا وتعاليت نستغفرك اللهم ونتوب إليك اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك اللهم ارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين واشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين اللهم مقلب القلوب والأبصار ثبت قلوبنا على دينك اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك اللهم انصر الإسلام وعز المسلمين واهلك بقدرتك الكفرة والمعتدين اللهم ارحمنا فإنك بنا راحم لا تعذبنا فإنك علينا قادر اللهم استرنا فوق الأرض وتحت الأرض ويوم العرض عليك اللهم استرنا فوق الأرض وتحت الأرض ويوم العرض عليك اللهم استرنا فوق الأرض وتحت الأرض ويوم العرض عليك اللهم اسقنا من حوض الكوثر شربة هنيئة منيئة لا نظمأ بعدها أبدا اللهم ثبت أقدامنا على الصراط اللهم ثبت أقدامنا على الصراط اللهم ثبت أقدامنا على الصراط اللهم ادخلنا الجنة من أوسع أبوابها اللهم ادخلنا الجنة من أوسع أبوابها اللهم اغفر لنا والمسلمين والمسلمات المؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات وآخر دعواهم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى صحبه وسلم أجمعين وآخر الصلاة